nice because it's not quite the narrow streets and corridors of Kings Row, but that's not going to stop CPT from really trying out some interesting stuff. I'm hoping that we see Siena commit to the Bastion. At least for now, it's going to be Canisius back on that double shield lineup. Special K is running the Cole Cassidy of their own, which means maybe it's a little easier to thwart some of these flank angles. And I like Flick on the Torbjorn. I'll always appreciate some good Torbjorn gameplay. What's harder to appreciate for players on ladder, at least, is the Bastion gameplay, and we will see that committed here by Siena College. See what the teleports from CJ Paul and Captain Kellogg can accomplish.
You know, unlike my co-caster here, I am not a Omnic Crisis sympathizer. I'm more paying attention to this TP, and it does not work out well. Though the Bastion gets into the backline, gets hit, but the anti gets slept. They were so focused on getting that TP out that the rest of the team, they're not even able to truly get there with CPT.
We do a little bit of trolling, and now we see the swaps coming in from Siena. They're like, okay, we got to try out one of these weird, wacky strats. It didn't quite pan out, so we'll play something a little bit more conventional. Interesting to me is PhD on the Moira here. That's a substitution in from our last two games, last two maps as well, and that's a lot of sustain. But Moira instead of a Baptiste or a Zen, maybe.
Yeah, but look at that, the res managing to get out and peel. Nathaniel once again building up that Gravitic Flux incredibly fast, managing to peel in and save this fight before it got into a big problem. Though Siena, they still want to fight it, at least when it comes down to the poke. They don't really have too many ultimates. The Coalescence is there as a way just to enable them to move forward, but I think we're going to be looking at these shatters more than anything.
Yeah, as well as the Valkyrie from Ghost, because that's going to be helpful in generating more ultimate charge for everyone on the team of Canisius. There's the Shatter, doesn't quite connect though.
Yeah, but look, it manages to find out Ace through the shield, and Upstate is able to walk into the opponents due to the nano, though you have to pay with your life. The res is attempted to get enabled. While it may not come out, it's still for Siena to have to go for that choking second.
I love it. Ghost being patient with the revive, saying, let's make sure that the fight is over, and then I'll bring Upstate back into the fight. That's the kind of Mercy gameplay that we wish we saw a little bit more on ladder, and that we'd love to see here in organized team play. Again, coming up on the Valkyrie as well. Going to be helpful in letting Nathaniel build up to that next Flux.
I mean, we just have to see how they want to try and push in. Siena more struggling than anything through this choke. They want to use that shield jump. They're putting a lot of resources in defending themselves, but look at this, Nathaniel building up to that Graphitics. The anti lands as well. There is just no survivability. Once again, it seems that Siena, they're going to have to come up with a new plan if they want to try and kind of get to the point.
Definitely don't let Captain Kellogg sit on this off angle, but Ghost is out of the fight. There's the Tactical Visor committed as well.
Excuse me, is this the DPS of Siena once again showing up as they manage to find the picks that allow them to move forward? I mean, we knew that CPT was on that high ground, but just barely managing to hit that rocket kill. That's impressive.
Yeah, that was really good stuff from Siena. It's again coming down to working for these off angles, and a nice timely rip tire as well from CJ Paul ends up enabling them to capture first point with 4 minutes in the time bank remaining. For Siena, it was a really good secure of that off angle. For Canisius, again, after the Gravitic Flux was committed, I think that I would have liked to see some hyper aggression from them to go up to that to those rafters and fight for that angle. Hopefully, we'll see that here on the defense of second point. That is.
I definitely feel that's something that is going to be more evident, especially when Siena, they're looking to take this high ground. Ace has the Gravitic Flux, and they are all in the back. Though the Shatter lands and the Nanos are committed onto the Reinhardts. I mean, Canisius and Siena are looking to take this evenly. The trades are there, but it's not looking too great. At least when it goes down to Canisius, the Moen Core gets popped out, stopping anybody from truly walking in, but it's not in the best optimal position. It does allow the res for a little bit longer, but there is a fight on the point. The first tick managing to come out, anti-hitting onto the Reinhardt, so Canisius, they have a lot of sustainability. They're feeling fine, and with the respawns, they are now looking a lot better as Siena. They just have to let themselves fall so they can come back.
Ooh, Melee Monster well, meleeing Sethri there, being like, yeah, try to walk on me again and see what happens. But that's exactly what Sethri is going to be looking to do, coming up on the Earth Shatter, probably in the mid-fight of this next engagement. But really, it's not so much the tank ults for Siena College that's going to buy them the second objective. It's going to be the DPS ultimates. Once again, Captain Killog fighting for that off angle, and CJ Paul, as long as we can build up that Riptire, Siena College is looking at at least another tick of progress on this point B.
Definitely a good point, but I mean, it's not going to be really working out too long. That's the only thing that they've made out when it comes to these pushes. They've lost their Reinhardt so early, yet they still choose to keep fighting in it. They want to try to burst down Nathaniel, but getting that Mercy Pocket, getting the healing, uses that Flux, goes for the two little squishies in the back. The bar is there, however, not able to heal yourself is going to be that big problem.
Oh no, look at Captain Killog though, he's on an off angle.
I mean, you're at an off angle, but at what point? I mean, it's a 5v6, and you have to wait. Give yourself a little bit more time, and for some reason, Nathaniel is checking these angles, is prepared for it.
Yeah, really good attentiveness here from the off-tank for Canisius. Still, though, you have to wonder if his presence is required instead on this high ground, where Upstate has just fallen.
I mean, the over-aggressive Shatter, it does not work. It went through the shield. Now, the high ground has been taken over by Siena. The Riptire prepared, though. Look at that Shatter. It goes out. You're saving that Riptire to find a bigger pick. Lands onto the High Noon, coming in, finishing off too. And with this Nano, I mean, the High Noon is just not going to be getting as much value when the rest of Siena are there, though. Canisius, they've given themselves enough time for the Wrecking Ball to return. That Gravitic Flux misses out, and there are now 4 people on this point. Never mind 5 as the Gravitic Flux comes in. Another Gravitic Coalescence. The Res, it managing to peel in for these fights. It's not looking too great for Siena, as they still have to play extremely split. They're not together, and they have to get off this point. Even with the Moira heals, even with their support still alive, Flicks returned with the Molten Core, and they have to try and commit onto this next push when it goes into the 40 seconds.
It's a tough situation, or a tough position to be in here for Siena as well. Look at Captain Killog. They're going to end up Pasa. Oh, they almost got staggered. They managed to get out of there, and Ghost ends up falling in the pursuit. That's brutal here for Canisius. We're going to have to see the Molten Core committed.
Out of everyone, you really don't want that Mercy to be gone, but look at this. Flick has taken over the high ground, is placing the Molten Core, spreading it out like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. As we see Siena, they aren't going to be able to move in. They have to play at such awkward angles, and their Sigma's all alone. Though Nathaniel gets caught with inside the trap, and it's really not going to be bothering them too much. CPT manages to assassinate the Assassinator, capping this point at 2.0. That is the most clutch thing I've seen in Overwatch.
Oh my goodness! Because the desire of Canisius there was to get Siena into overtime, was to not yield that second objective until until that clock ran down to 0.0, not 2.0, and so a little unfortunate. But you know, we've all played this wonderful game mode called Assault. I know that it's much beloved in the hearts of all Overwatch players, and in that vein, imagine you not capturing both points of 2 CP in the year of our Lord 2022. This is everyone's favorite game mode. We all know how to play this map, and the fact is that steamrolling, getting some momentum, and then using it to just coast through both objectives, it's not an uncomplicated. That's not a complicated endeavor. It might be made more difficult with Siena now mirroring the double shield brawl lineup, because I'm certain that we're going to see Nathaniel come out on the Sigma. If we see anything different, then I'll be very sad, because I've been very much enjoying the off-tank gameplay for Canisius so far. So fighting through that double shield, I think, is going to be very difficult, as well as Sethri is going to help enable some really solid angles for CPT to play in. I anticipate resistance here from Siena, but again, kind of like my expectations on King's Row, I do expect Canisius to be able to make this a successful push.
Honestly, I'm expecting Canisius, already losing one just out of the spam. That's incredibly unfortunate, as, well, you kind of just need that time bank for a little bit longer, and this is giving more than enough reason for Siena to start pushing in. Though they really just want to play at this choke, they are really wanting to hope CJ build this Riptire. I mean, Canisius, they're still committing in, at least for the poke. They're not over pushing themselves. It's more of Siena just really wanting to find some picks.
But look at Nathaniel and the Shatter here. Again, I am just a little bit disappointed to not see Nathaniel on the Sigma, but we know that they can make waves of impact here on the Reinhardt. They're going to want to push here.
Yeah, look at this. They're moving forward. That Nano built so incredibly quick. Poor Ace is just not going to be able to live even with the Valk healing. It's up to CJ using this Riptire, especially CPT trying to bring this back. Though they do get the res, that's putting Canisius in a very uncomfortable position. There hasn't been too much made out of it. CPT still has to play incredibly carefully. The Gordic Flux used on the point. Nathaniel hit with the anti. Not going to be able to survive, and the Lucio is going to be following closely after, though. They push in. They are trying to find it. Canisius built up the ultimate, so it is at least that fair trade, but I mean, Siena, they built up more.
Yeah, Siena is the big winner of this particular kind of subset of team fights here, coming up on both DPS ultimates, a Shatter from Ace as well, but Nathaniel's working on another Shatter of their own. So Melly Monster being able to commit here with the Nano, and Ghost with the beat to sustain Canisius here on the objective.
They had to use the res, and they just did not have the resources. It was so aggressive, and it seems that they are going to be punished. All of these ultimates, though, they are going to be saved at least for the second point. Lord, what are the odds that you see just a Fiesta come out and that point get captured due to it?
I don't envy you, user intel, as the play-by-play caster for this evening. You're gonna have a lot of fun casting the ultimate exchange we're gonna see emerge here. It's gonna be starting with Ace's Shatter, and it might fall on Ghost to drop the sound barrier, Melly to apply Nano to Nathaniel. See how this unfolds.
They use the Nano and they use the Riptire. These are the ultimates that are going out. It gets broken before it can take out the Reinhardt, and now we see the high noons. This is where the big plays are going to be. Unfortunately, we do see Melly Monster falling down. The grab being thrown a little bit too far back. It's not going to be getting enough value. However, Nathaniel managing to find these picks. They don't realize that CPT is there with the high noon, coming in with the cleanup. Though that tick is found, they have secured this fight before it became too deadly.
Well, that fight did not pan out at all how I anticipated it going, but I'll tell you what I was right about was the sound barrier for Ghost. I didn't vocalize it, but I did know that it was going to mean big value here for Canisius, and it does reward them with that tick of progress. Now, look at these time banks as well. 3 minutes, 53 seconds compared to the 2 seconds Siena has. There's still an opportunity here for Canisius to not have their time bank reduced. They're going to run it right down mid, armed with a Shatter, see if they can make this second tick work.
I mean, they just really want to push forward, though. The Lucio gets trapped, so they aren't going to be getting that speed boost for too long. The Shatter, it still goes through. They're looking to try to take this advantage, but the Primal Rage, beautifully used. This Reinhardt, poor Nathaniel, has nowhere to play in this game, and well, doesn't have the support line to come peel back. Still, though, that second tick was a sacrifice they had to make.
Sethri's out here on the Winston learning their tech from Gujwe, and I'm gonna learn my tech from Sethri. Really nice use of the Primal Rage. One of the more fun ultimates in my opinion. I feel like Winston is as fun on the tank role as Genji is reportedly as fun on the DPS role. It's going to be down to the DPS heroes on both sides here as well. CJ Paul's coming up on another Riptire. That's going to be big value if they can secure upstate with it.
I definitely have to agree. Just poor Nathaniel gets perfectly isolated due to the bubble. No healing. Now you just gotta back up. I do understand wanting to mirror with the monkey, but it is going to be incredibly difficult just to be breaking through this choke.
Here's the problem about running it down main when you're coming through this choke here. With CJ Paul on the high ground, what it means is that someone gets trapped every single time. You've seen it here happen twice now. And CJ Paul just kind of throws the trap down, someone walks into it, and that's a free elimination.
I have to agree, but the Riptire is also counted as a free elimination, not respecting it enough, walking into that range, and once again, they're just not going to be able to reach that point.
2 ticks secured here, though, for Canisius College, and coming up on a couple of key abilities as well, namely Melon Monster's Nano Boost. Gotta go watchful for Sethri, going hyper-aggressive. You might call it greedy. I'm gonna say it's just enough zeal here to slow down Canisius, and also put Melly into a position where they say, okay, I don't want to die here, back off all the way. We will be coming up on the sound barrier as well, so both support ultimates for Canisius College deployed either early or in the mid-fight is going to be the difference between securing this third tick or losing this series entirely.
just have to see what do they do against the spam. It's from different directions, so I guess they want to go onto that high ground, but the big problem comes they've lost so many just trying to break through. Although the ultimates were committed, so that's the bright side that you have when you're from the Canisius side. It's still not in your best interest. You have less than a minute, and all you got to do is get a tick.
I mean, Siena College is showing us that that they are looking to increase their standings here in EGFC Season 3, sitting at a 37.5% win rate as a whole in all the series that they've played in. They're really looking to surpass Cincinnati Rider University and continue to climb up that ladder and make a name for themselves here. Looking to end it all here in this last team fight.
Look at that. It's out. The shatter does not land through, but they use a high nuke and they find out 3. That's a beautiful moment. The sound barrier even committed. Although, look at that CPT managing to find 2. They don't touch the point. The biggest weakness of Siena was focus, and I guess it just wasn't going to be on that point, rather on their opponents. And that's a 24-second difference when it comes down to it, and I still feel it's fairly even.
I mean, 24 seconds is so much time and not enough time. Both ways. It's quite the paradox here for Canisius College having an additional 24 seconds. There's a moment there of celebration, saying we finally capped that troublesome second objective that everyone loves so much about this game mode. We only have 24 seconds remaining, and then the sobriety falls back along upon the members of this particular squad. Canisius, I talk about Siena looking to increase their standing. Well, Canisius is in the same boat, and they certainly don't want to lose to Siena College, the number ranked 15 squad in 3 maps. They want to bring this back. They want to reverse sweep this series. They want to at least show us that they have strategies that will bring them success, like the unconventional Mercy Lucio strategy that I'm still kind of enamored by, not gonna lie. It's, again, gonna all fall on Ghost, Melly Monster, and Nathaniel. For me, those are the big picks here for Canisius College. The big kahunas. I think that's a fish. And it's going to be up to Nathaniel now on the Sigma to help deny Siena from advancing onto this first point. You get a full hold of the first objective, and you put yourself into a really comfortable situation where you can draw or win.
I smell anger from Siena, though, being on this Roadhog of all characters. They just really want to look for some sneaky picks. Though they pull the Reinhardt closer into the squishies. That's not what you're looking for, losing 2 out at 30 seconds, and they are still making that rotation. I mean, that's risky in itself, but I guess they just really don't want to have that reset.
Oh, but we've learned our lesson, right, Canisius? We've learned our lesson about letting Siena sit wherever they want to. Go aggressive, go up top into the rafters and fight for this off angle, but that's not what we're going to see here from Canisius. They're going to back off and hold the objective.
Yeah, Siena, they're prioritizing going on top of this high ground, looking for as much poke as they can, trying to let their supports get through, especially that Junkrat, but gets caught midway through. Now they have to fight this as a 5v6, though looking for these picks. The anti, that's the bigger point, combined with the Gravitic Flux. It's going to be stopping Siena's hopes and dreams, as they are not going to be able to cap this point, even if we see CPT on the flank. This is no longer King Shroud. You're not going to be getting away with it anymore.
I'm coming off as a real Canisius College stan, let me tell you. And I don't mean to be, don't get me wrong. I'm really liking the strategies from both these teams. The fact is that I just want to watch as much Overwatch today as possible. And you know, if that involves watching more Nathaniel, more Captain Kellogg, then I'm fine with that either way. I mean, just fantastic plays on both of these sides here. But now Siena is a little you know, as I talk about the somber nature of capturing that second objective with only a little bit of time remaining in the bank, Siena is in a similar position here as well, where they're saying, man, well, in this first of 3 series, we can now no longer win this matchup in 3 maps. For myself and all of us who are enjoying the show at home, thank you for watching, by the way. This is a good thing for Canisius College specifically. This is a fantastic reverse of fortune, if you will, where now there's an opportunity to pick up this map. Putting Nathaniel on the Sigma is a big part of that win condition. And I'm intrigued to see the double main support strategy employed here as well. Obviously, an effort with the double shield, the double main support to push through this choke uninhibited. CJ Paul and the May is going to be very good at thwarting that.
I'd like to think that Canisius are sitting there saying, you know what, let's just have more healing. They won't be able to kill us, especially when Nathaniel's building up these gravitic fluxes so quickly. It's kind of impressive. What's not, though, is the May wall kind of falling through. I find it more impressive. Upstate able to just bait it out, fall through. Upstate does fall, but they managed to find out CJ in that trade-off, so at least it's a fair moment. With the res, it's forcing that time bank down to one Canisius. They are going to be able to come back without too much of a worry. We still see the poke go in as CJ is really looking out for this wall, really just wants to try to punish anybody possible. Unfortunately, though, it is going to happen as the Reinhardt and the Sigma, they're the ones. Upstate's going to fall. Nathaniel trapped in the backline. Now it's down to 30 seconds, and Lord, this is not looking good.
I'm surprised to have not seen the lamp deploy from Ghost there, and now we're going to see Sethri with a Gravitic Flux. The lamp does come out, helps to save both supports. There's 23 seconds remaining in the bank here, and you will be working with the window from Ghost, but be careful, that's Shatterbait for Ace.
Yeah, but look at this, the Sigma call out of position, has to use the E. This wall could be big, but no, it's going to be countered up by the window, just landing on top of it, and it's breaking through. They now rush themselves onto the point. Ace managed to get the charge in the end. Canisius, they lose their supports. It's just not looking good anymore as they have to keep touching, but being walled off and not having the team, I'm more impressed that in the end, we had Draw a Namora. That's the way you're supposed to be properly saying it.
And yeah, that's unfortunate here for Canisius College, because this is where you wanted to swing the series. This is the map that you wanted things to turn around on. I know that from my own team over at University at Buffalo, swinging a series on map 3, especially a map like Hanamura, it's a pretty big deal. And so missing out on that opportunity is